11 a.m. in sunny California. And we've got the song back up. That is Chase K's Lonely One over here. Also, we've got the new Cali IN8s and, of course, the Genelex up by the side of it. So we have new speakers. So you might see me during this little soiree, during this live video, you might see me move backwards and forwards between the real speakers. I'm very excited to listen through them as well. How is everybody today? All doing marvelously well? Who do we have? We have Jam Easy Music. We have Frank. Hey, Frank. Hey, Christian. Hey, Philip. Hey, Alexi. Hey, Marcus. Daniel. And another Frank says they're hearing echo. Justin. We are talking 2 p.m. EST. That is correct. Blue Wave Dave, Harmony Smurth, Matthew O'Toole. Who do we have? We have lots of people. Timothy. Hey, Timothy. How are you all? Mike Bembo. Hey, Mike. Anyway, let's get stuck back in. We have an hour here. If you haven't already, please download the multi-tracks. Hi, everyone. Hey, Ben. Hey, Darko. Hey, John. Hey, Chris. Hey, Greg. Hey, Being William. Oh, no, we just started. You're not late. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button. That lets YouTube know, basically, other people that we're here. So I have just walked in literally 3 minutes ago. So I haven't even listened to the track, which is good because you get to listen to it the first time with me. Are we on the view yet, Eric? Okay, great. So I'm just going to press play and see where we left it off. Okay, we don't have to listen to too much to sort of like get back into it. So essentially what we have is we have the basis of a drum sound there. It looks like we've done some work on the drums and the bass. There's still some more things I want to do to the drums, but essentially it's there. Those are the two elements we worked on. So let's have a quick listen in solo to see where we left off with the drums. Has everybody downloaded the multi-tracks? Have you been playing it with it yourself? Please do. If you look underneath the video, it says download the Chase K Lonely One multi-tracks here. Eric can also put them in the, put them in the link here as well, so you can go to it. Let's have a quick listen. Quite happy with that. Let me just bring down my speaking voice ever so slightly because it's considerably louder than the music. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I really like this. It's a little bottom snare heavy and there's no room tone on the snare top. So I might do that now or I might wait. In fact, I'm going to wait. But it's just to describe my thought process. Now let's throw in the bass. Now just for refresher, the bass does say left and right, but it's not a stereo bass. It's actually a duplicate of the file. So if you're downloading the tracks, what I'm doing is I'm using the top one here as just for the low end. And then the bottom one down here, I'm treating it like an amp. So it's all just the high mids and all the articulation. I think I could actually, just for schnitz and schniggles, grab another EQ, listening with fresh ears, and frankly, just go, let me grab this one here, and just get rid of the high highs. I don't need any of this super high information on the amp side of the bass. I mean, there isn't really much there anyway, but it's just low passing, meaning all the low end going through, and I'm just separating it out. So we'll just do a quick recap. Okay, so this one that says bass L, if you've got it, is they are actually duplicates of the files. So the top one I'm using in mono, I'm EQing out all of the high end here above 230. So it's just this area here. I'm also doing a little bit of high passing in the low lows, just getting rid of that. And then I doubled up that EQ because I really didn't want to hear any high end on it. And this is what we get here. And then I've got a little bit of gentle compression going on as well. So I've separated the bass into two halves. I've been doing this for years, and obviously I've been teaching it for the last 6 years of doing this, which is great. I hear pretty much everybody does it now. And then the top end again is just for like the amp simulation. Now, a couple of people said to me that they had applied some like Sans amp, some distortion to it, which I think is really cool. So we can do a little bit of that. So what we can come along and grab. So we got harmonic here. Now I'm a big fan of this plugin. It's Sans amp. Now it is a Pro Tools free plugin, but it does mean if you're on a different, if you're on a different DAW, just use whatever, emulation comes with that. So I'm going to apply some drive to it. So now those two things together are giving us, I think, a little bit more of an amp tone. Now that we've got a bit of saturation, a bit of drive going on the higher part of those two separations. Now, you might say in solo, Warren, this is a pop song. Why are you adding drive to it? Well, it's a pop song. Yes, I'm adding drive to it, but in the mix... Cool. So now you can see that all of that high-end like distortion I added just disappears. It just sinks in there, but it gives a little bit more definition to the bass. Now, as quite a few of you were pointing out, there is no compression or EQ on the vocal whatsoever. So at the moment, the lead vocal is just this. I guess the party's over, the drinks are gone, and we're hungover. You can hear a little pop, 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 pop from his vocal mic. I guess the party. Pop, pop. You hear that there? Pop, pop. Now, there's going to be some low information. So why don't we just, before we do anything on the vocal, the first thing we do is just apply a little bit of high passing, just a nats. So I'm just going to get a 2-band EQ here. You can use a stock one. I'm using the Renaissance EQ. Honestly, I've been using them since they came out back in 1842. This is obviously the new version, but I just know this plugin really well. But I just treat this as like my stock EQ. We could do it for stock EQ. I'm not going to do any, it doesn't have an emulation of anything. It's just an EQ that I know how to use well. If you want to use whatever EQ you have, feel free. I guess a party. So there you go. Can you hear that in your listening environment? I just took off that excessive p. Yes, a parties, yes, a parties, yes, a parties, yes, a parties, yes, a parties. Cool. So all that is some gentle high passing, getting rid of excessive p. That isn't, it didn't affect anything else about the vocal except for that. Okay, so I like to do that before doing anything else. So, and that's kind of standard for most people. If you're going to do some subtractive EQ, sort of do it at the beginning. You know, so I'm doing it right there at the beginning. Now, one of my favorite plugins, and one of my favorite plugins on a vocal, frankly, is the RVox. And now the thing about the RVox, and another reason why I applied this first, was the RVox tends to bring up a lot of the low-end information, like a lot of like real girth in there. And what I will do is I'll make sure that I'm not sending excessive amounts of low end to it first. So if I just high pass that gently first of all, that will make life a lot easier. So I've just gently high passed it, and now I'm going to put it into the RVox. Again, you can use a stock compressor. Absolutely. I just happen to really like the RVox for this. I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over. Take it off. I guess the party's over. I think the area you hear it most is in this section here. Because it's guess the party's over. He comes down, guess the party's over. And it just, because it's compressing, and this is really basic stuff, but I think it's worth explaining, because it's compressing the peaks, it means that when it's not compressing the peaks, the other stuff comes up in volume. So it's evening it out. And I know that's really obvious for so many of you that use compression every day, but it's always worth explaining. And the other thing that I love about the RVox, quite frankly, is the simplicity of it, that I've got a gate if I need it, otherwise it's just a compression tool. And I think it's a favorite of many mixers I know. I actually started using it because Michael Brower was using it on a vocal for a phrase song, an album that I had recorded and he mixed, and I saw it at the beginning of his chain, so I was like, I should go back and revisit it. I hadn't used it up until that point. I guess the party's over. Okay, let's try that in context. I guess the party's over. The drinks are gone, and we're hungover. It doesn't seem as fun now. A little sadder, a little lonely. So this is getting older. Quite miraculous, isn't it? So like those two basic moves on the vocal do a lot for you. High passing. So let's just talk about this slowly, just high passing. I listened to it and I ended up with at 137, but that's not really as important as you think. The most important thing is the slope, because saying I high passed at 137 just, it's kind of meaningless, isn't it? Because if the slope is gentle, then it just means that's where you begin a gentle slope. And my cue is, you know, if you look over here, the slope is quite gentle. So there is going to be low-end information coming through, but just less of it. So I'm basically taming the low lows on the vocal. Then I'm going into the RVox, which I'm using fairly aggressively. Let's go to the loudest part of the vocal here. So the loudest point in this song, it's just clipping slightly, not clipping, but going slightly over 6 dB. So quite a decent amount, but here on the quieter moments,
The drinks are gone.
3 to 4. So we're getting, generally speaking, say 4 dB worth of gain reduction on average, sometimes going higher, sometimes going lower. So roughly around that on average. But there is no law, because each compressor, whatever it indicates, isn't necessarily going to sound the same. Be really aware of that, especially if you're using attack and release times where you're exaggerating certain things. Slow attack times, allowing consonants to come through, for instance. We can demonstrate that quickly if you want. Why don't we just grab its brother, the R compressor, the Renaissance compressor. We'll grab that. Here, and I'm just going to take that phrase.
I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over.
Now what's happening there, if we just balance the output so the gain is similar.
I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over.
Now the issue here is this is the stock standard setting that comes in. It's a slowish attack here, but it's also a slowish release. So if I now go to the left and go to the fastest release time that it has, have a listen.
I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over.
So you hear that, guess the parties. With the slow attack time, I can slow it down a little bit more even maybe. You're going to hear more of that come through.
I guess the party's over. 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 I guess the party's over.
So if I take the RVox off, it'll be even more exaggerated. So now we're just going to hear this compressor alone.
I guess the party's over. I guess the party's over.
Take it off.
I guess the party's over.
Yep. I mean, we can get even more exaggerated than that. But the reality is that's what you're doing with the attack and release times. You're taking the release time and you're allowing it to be fast enough so that it recovers quickly. So once it's squashed the vocal, it's compressed the vocal, there's a point where it's no longer loud enough to be compressing. So you release it quicker. I like quicker release times, and I like playing around with the attack times. There are plenty of compressors that I use, especially hardware and hardware emulations like LA2As and things like that, Fairchilds, etc., which have very long release times, which is really nice when you want to grab a track or grab something and just clamp it down and keep it really there. However, with vocals, it's a different kind of thing. You do want things to be super up front. You want them to come forward, so you do want to apply a lot of compression. But you're going to find that almost anybody that mixes vocals uses a lot of stuff in series. They use a lot of different compressors for different ways. I will say my experience has taught me that the RVox does a lot straight away. It just does. But, you know, you can have all kinds of different compressors. You know what I mean? You can use whatever you like. So we're going to do some giveaways for memberships of the Academy. So why don't we initially ask this question. What is your favorite plug-in compressor? And this is for a year's membership to the Academy. And also, if you're already a member, you can get an additional year. And if you're a lifetime member, you can, of course, also get any free course that you want from ProMix Academy. Okay, so do me a favor. Just tell me what compressor you like, plug-in compressor, and you know what? If you only like hardware, you can do that too. There's no wrong answer. If you only like hardware compression and don't use plug-in compressors, let us know. And Eric will pick somebody at random. Just hit that lovely like button. That would be amazing. Okay, let's keep listening.
I guess the party's over. The drinks are gone. And we're hungover.
Okay, so what I want to do is I actually want to move on from this. The vocal could be a little bit brighter. It could actually sit just a little bit more on top. But I am mixing everything to feel super, super balanced. So at the moment, it's working. Please hit that like button as well. Let's move on and see what else we've got. We've got a piano here, which we did a little bit of EQ. We did a similar thing. We did some high passing, and we boosted some of the high end. Ah, yes. We found this ARP here, which we really loved, and we talked about maybe messing with it a little bit, making it hard, making it more stereo even. There's a bit of do-do-do-do lows in there, which are a little ugly and maybe unnecessary. You know, I'm going to go, because we're at equal opportunity when it comes to our manufacturers, we're going to go and grab the Slate Infinite EQ, which I've been really enjoying. The Academy members know I've been using this a lot. Let's go here. So what I've done really, really basically is just pull out a bunch of mids and low mids and boosted mid-mids. So that's just how I hear this. So see it in the track, see what it's done. It's already working for me. It's a little quiet. Let's turn it up. Question is, do I want a little bit of grit over the top? I'm moving this mid-range up a little bit. It's interesting because I've cut just as much as I've boost, but it's definitely becoming more evident now. As much as I like the low doo-doo-doo-doo, it's getting lost, and I don't want to boost it. I've got a bass guitar, I've got a bass drum, a kick drum, and I've got a piano down there. I'm liking this doo-doo-doo-doo area, but I'm also enjoying the fact that it's not too bright. So we're boosting areas which, frankly, don't get boosted that much. There's not a lot of mixing where you go to 1.5 and 2K and boost. You know, that's usually considered kind of an area that gets kind of ignored, and there's a lot of build-up on there. But on this instrument, I think it's working really nicely. Yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So there's a part of me that just wants to hear what it's like if we just put a little grit on it, you know, a little kind of tiny bit of grit. So we could go back to the Sans amp. We've got lots of different options here. I want to like do some things that are a little different for everybody. Who won?
Darren Ross with CLA 2A.
Oh, wow. The CLA 2A. We did talk about an LA 2A. So I'm going to use the Lo-Fi, which is actually the free, comes free with Pro Tools. It's not like the world's most famously incredible plugin. But what it is it's a stock plugin. And I just want to say whatever your stock distortion is. So. So the saturation, you can see, seems to be driving the lows a bit more than the highs. So let's go and see what the distortion side's doing. That's really tasty. That's doing exactly what I want. I'm trying to get that piano-iness, that ding, 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 ding out of it, and that is really nice. This is a very, if you are Pro Tools users, and you don't have to be, of course, this is a very underrated plugin. Very, very underrated plugin. It's really nice on many sources. And you can see it's saturating, it's distorting. Here it's distorting, but it's also adding, it's basically applying EQ. It's making things come out in a different way. Let's listen to it in and out of the mix. So we did all of the key stuff here. The overdubs were done in Logic, for those of you who want to know. So this was actually done in Logic, the keys stuff. And that is a preset in Logic that we tweaked. So immediately it's working. Now I might actually, now that it's louder, I might just bring it down ever so slightly. Just tuck it in and let's have a listen. Okay, now I'm going to go to the pre-chorus and see what's going on there. Cool. Now, where we left off on before on this is we actually muted the heavy guitars. If you remember from the last stream, which please, if you haven't, go and watch it, I actually muted these guitars here on the chorus. And they were recorded with delays and stuff. But what I decided might be kind of interesting is to see what we could do with the DIs. Here's the DIs. So what I think might be interesting is to take those clean DIs and do something different with them and see what we can then do with the chords. So I'm just going to have some fun here. Now, what I often do is I put maybe reverb on the clean DI opposite the distorted one. So for instance, here's a short decay on one of them. And I can do the same thing with the other DI down here. Pan the opposite way. Now, let's just throw it into the mix and see whether we like it at all. It's quite possible I'm going to absolutely hate it, but let's have a listen. like it. I don't really like it. I feel like it's another competing element that's going. So just before I give up entirely, let's have a listen. What about doing something really silly? I'm just going to try this. Just because this is the kind of guy I am. I'm just going to chop this up and just see if we can make it do something different. So I'm not going to, and feel free to do this with the files. Download the files and just try some stuff. I'm actually just going to do da-na-na-na-na. So maybe if it just comes in and only plays for a few seconds and just plays that rhythmic da-na-na-na-na, it might be more interesting. So let's just try it. Can't hurt. Might have to put a little crossfade on those, but just for schnitz and schniggles. I think this is like, you know, you might think, what? You can't do this, the mixer, but you know what? You can. I think initially I'm going to lose that sustain chord. All right, let's have a listen to it in the track. I like it. Do I love it? Not really. Okay, not loving it, but I'm adventurous and I like trying out things, so just for schnitz and sniggles, I'm going to do the opposite. Try with the vocal. This is what I love about what we do, is that we can get creative and try all kinds of silly things. And feel free to do the same. Feel free to manipulate things and try all kinds of different stuff. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It. Do I love it? I'm not sure yet. But just for snitch and schniggles, let's do this. So what we've got is we've got this, you know, it's a 4-bar sequence. So I'm going to copy this 4-bar sequence over to here. And just because I can, I am going to reverse it. It's interesting. What we could do, if we want to get crazy, is try reverse reverb on it. But I'm not loving it. So this was one of those parts on the guitar where I was like, it supported it, but it might just be unnecessary. And this is part of the process. And don't be afraid to try these things and just think, is this good? Is this bad? Do I like it? Do I hate it? You know? So what I suggest, those of you that have strong opinions about how you want it to sound, download the multitracks and try for yourself. Now that we've messed around for that with 5 minutes, I'm keeping the reverb idea, keeping it panned. So what we have is the effect on one side, the reverb on the other. But I'm actually just bringing the guitars down and just putting them in the mix as a potential energy lift. And that's where they're going to stay for the time being. I may end up muting them, but now where they are is they're ducked in and they're just an energy lift. Absolutely, Aaron, if that's your idea. I suggest strongly that you download it and mix it and try some different ideas. Yes, Greg, as I said when we did the vocal, we're yet to brighten it and we're going to balance the mix. What we're doing is we're not taking one thing and making it super bright and then trying to challenge ourselves. We're doing a balanced mix as we go. We've also talked about the snare, maybe being a little bit more aggressive, a little less bottom snare, putting some verb on the snare. Not yet done that. But again, download the multitracks and do it for yourself. So we've got a few minutes left. Let's do another giveaway. So this is a giveaway for a year's membership to the Academy. And if you're already an Academy member, you'll get an extra year. If you're a lifetime member, of which we have a lot, you'll get any course you want from Pro Mix Academy. So what do we want to know? Well, we're just talking about guitars and all kinds of schnizzle there. We also talked about compressors. What is your compressor? I want an easy, dumb one. What DAW do you use? If you don't use a DAW, how do you record? Just let us know. Please hit the like button. That would be absolutely amazing. There's 500 people here. It'd be great to have 500 likes. Hit the like button and let us know what DAW you use. And if you don't use a DAW, how do you record? Are you recording on, on your iPhone? Are you recording on your Android? Are you recording on a 4-track cassette? Are you still using 24-track 2-inch tape? Are you using 1-inch? Are you using 60? How are you recording? Let us know. There's no wrong answer. Eric will pick at random. Okay, let's keep listening. Now with the pads, I feel like they're adding low energy. I don't like the low lows on them. They're sort of just filling up, aren't they? So let's just, for Snitch and Sniggles, mute them for a second and see if we notice them disappearing. It is interesting. They do notice disappearing. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. They definitely have a sort of sense of like, oh, here it is, here's a big full tone. There's a part of me that just... Just want to try something just for the heck of it. Let's go. Then this is us having fun. So why don't we just go to our dynamics here and find what is our most generic-ish kind of gate. I've always forget the name of the Avid one. It's pretty funny because it's called Dyn. That's it, Dyn 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just for Snitch and Sniggles is I'm going to take a send from the bass and I'll make it pre-fade so the bass doesn't actually have to be turned on. Look ahead is done. And we'll key it from the bass, which is bus 11. As I forgot there, always make sure that you're using the sidechain turned on up here. Now you could chop this up to do the same thing. You could chop it up to do it. Cool, let's double that to the other one. I like that. I like that. It's interesting. Now, a couple of things you could do is we could put a little bit of verb on it so that it's not quite so choppy, but just still a little bit more, you know. And again, try downloading the tracks and trying some other ideas yourself. So I'm going to put like a small room reverb on it, but I'm obviously not going to make it 100% wet. So let's do that on both. Great. I like that. Now, you could do whatever the schnizzle you like, but to me, that just kind of keeps them forward, momentum going, and it's a great use of using a gate. Can't really conflict with the vocal because there's no vocal in that section there, Gabe.
Are gone and we're hungover. It doesn't seem as fun now. A little sadder, a little lonely.
Cool. So let's just address that little snare thing because we're starting to get a little bit more into it now. Who won, Eric? And what did they use?
Winner was Karsten Dollar using Reaper.
Ah, Reaper users. Okay, so let's just work a little bit on that snare now. It's bugging me enough. We've been talking about it for an hour. Let's figure it out. So... well, the first thing I'm going to do is like, I'm not sure... You'll remember we put a little compression. If you haven't, please go back to the previous video. We put a little compression in there to just remove the kick out of it. But it's a little bottom snare heavy. I kind of like it though. But if we take one of these aggressive snares, not that one, that one. So that one's pretty ringy. So we take that aggressive snare that we're using, and use that to trigger some reverb, it will definitely counteract that. So let's create a separate stereo. And stick around, by the way, we'll do another giveaway in 10 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to make that input bus 13. And we'll call this snare verb. And we'll just use a stock reverb. One that comes free with my DAW. You can use whatever one you like. And I'm not going to put any reverb. I might put a little bit of EQ on it, but let's not get too carried away that first. So I'm going to use the Deverb, which is the free one that comes with Pro Tools. We're going to go to Room. We're going to do 1 second worth of verb. See, that's a good aggressive ringing snare, which I think will... Let's try it in the mix. Could maybe shorten a little bit. We'll come down to like 900 milliseconds. Nice. Now, what we could do is we could obviously bring the reverb that we just added, which is only on one of the elements. Now, that is a very well-known Andy Wallace trick that you've heard 1,000 times before, which is basically use a sample to trigger reverb as opposed to a live one. Because if you use the live one, what you might end up finding is all that bleed from hi-hat, etc. gets too excessive. So now I'm just going to bring down the reverb on the snare that we just added, bringing it down in the first verse.
I guess the party's over. The drinks are gone. And we're hungover.
Cool, nice and tight. Now I'm also going to bring it down on most of the pre-chorus.
Only. So this is getting old.
But it's not as much as it would be in the chorus. So now we've got louder. Cool. Now we've really, this is the classic, we've really fallen in love with that, so much so that it's the loudest thing in the mix. And it's very typical when you spend a long time working on something. This great sound here. And we really got that nice and articulated. I actually think we could use, and I don't normally do this, but I think we could actually use a widening plugin on this. What? Say it ain't so. Warren's going to use a widening plugin. Yeah, I am. I just kind of want to get, there's a lot of that do-do-do-do-do-do mid-range in the middle, just a little bit too much. So I'm going to go to the sound field. What can we use? Well, why don't we go to our good friends? There's Al's plugin. Let's go to center one. We'll cause some outputs to be removed. All right. Let's do this. Let us do, what was it doing? Rewind, leap wing, stereo. I went to an LCR. And the beach ball of death. Okay. So what's great about this plugin, you can hear it immediately. I love this plugin. I just turn the middle down. Let's do it in the track. In bypass. Take it off. Much nicer. So what we basically did there is just brought down the center about 4 dB, and we brought up the sides 1.7 dB. So now I think we can even turn it down a bit. And again. Great. All right, well, we have to go in 6 minutes at 12. This is a quick 1 hour one. If you haven't already downloaded the multitracks, please do. Please hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. It's incredible. We have 550 people watching on these impromptu live streams, so I really appreciate it. Please hit the like button. Don't forget to download the multitracks. Mix this for yourself. You can follow along with me. You can ignore me. You can do whatever you want. That's the purpose of doing this. You know, a lot of this mixing here, especially after, you know, recording this song 2 or 3 years ago, is I'm just coming back and I'm just re-evaluating how it's going to be. And that's a big part of what we talk about. That's why it's called Produce Like a Pro, not Mix Like a Mix, like a mix. It's all about like trying ideas out. Take the multi-tracks, do some guitar overdubs, do whatever you like, sing harmonies to it, re-sing it, rap on it. Have fun with it. Please, please, please. Okay, we'll do one more giveaway. So please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. We do these all the time. And of course, go check out the Academy. So, so with the Academy, we'll do one more giveaway. And we'll make this massive. This is for a lifetime membership of the Academy. What? Say it ain't so. There are lifetime members here. So if you already are a lifetime member, you can pick, I don't know, you can pick 5 courses on ProMix Academy. How about that? Remember that? 5 courses, ProMix Academy, and lifetime membership. All right. So what's the last question? We got 5 minutes. What could be the last question? We found out the DAW. Yeah, all right. Microphone. If not what you want, what do you have? Do you have a microphone, number one? And if you do have a microphone, what is it? If you don't have a microphone, that's okay. You can say, I don't yet own a microphone. Or you can say, I want to get. I don't mind. There is no wrong answer. We just want to know, what microphone do you have? You know, what is your main vocal microphone, the main microphone that you have? If it's just a 57, it's great. If it is a U47, God bless you. And if it's MXL or a Lewitt or an AKG, there's no wrong, Mojave, there's no wrong answer. Let us know what microphone you have. Wow. Darko has a U87. Nice. All right, I'm going to listen down.
Are gone, hung over. It doesn't seem as fun now. A little sadder, a little lonely. So this is getting older.
Going to try some silly little things. We're not on automation yet, so we've got to be careful what you do. I don't want to do too crazy. That's the one I'm having trouble with. I'm not sure if I want that kind of continuous. I mean, I like it. The low mids maybe get a little ugly for a bit. So, you know, and it's hard to process that thickness in the low mid. So we're just grabbing our REQ here. There it is. It's all that area there, isn't it? 500. It's basically all that's going on. That's why I'm saying the low mids is like 500. Tough one. This, I don't need that 8K and above. That's just going to rip people's heads off. I'm just going to be aggressive on the compression here. So oak sound could work well here if that gets a little bit too much, but let's get aggressive on the compression. And when I say aggressive, I'm actually going to smash the schnizzle out of it with an MV2, but bring the volume. Almost. I like that. So what I did is I'm not afraid to be aggressive on it. So what I've done is I've pulled down the really super boosted frequencies quite dramatically, and then I just squashed the schnizzle out of it with an MV2. So I took up the low information, which is the other frequencies, and I've taken the high information, which is those boosted frequencies, and just did this, just squashed them together. So bits that are missing have got louder, bits that, or low have got louder, and bits that are too loud have got quieter. And now it's more of just of a pad. There's a part of me that just wants to distort them. Well, when we come back with a part trois, a part dry, when we come back with part dry or part trois, part three, we will address all these things. And we're here with fresh ears and have some fun. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't already, subscribe. You absolutely rock. Congratulations to all the winners. I will see you all again very, very soon. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, adio, tschüss, goodbye.